Right now it's just
Sounds
a little bit of
good.
like little harpsichord.
Kind of distant.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I want.
Yeah,
Yep.
nice ambiance.
Not distracting. Okay. The broadcast is going, and it looks like we are live. So, hello everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're gonna play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
D.
I am Christiana Ellis. I am the Dungeon Master, and I am adjusting my microphone stand a little bit. Our players tonight, Jenny Meltzer as Zaleen,
Hey guys.
Starla Hodgson as Carolina,
Hello, friends.
Mark Kilfoyle as Nedry,
You know, I really have to get back to my Lin query. I have 31 questions so far.
you've been saving them up, and Chute Schubert as Sequential.
Hello, hello.
And we are missing our Paul Fisher as Zinhorn for this evening, alas, but we will soldier on in his stead. In his stead is not the right phrase. That makes it sound like instead of him, but in his absence, I guess. So he should be returning next week. So when last we left, the Pocket Protectors, not the Heroes of Legend, but the Pocket Protectors. Yes, still stings a week later. You had arrived in the town of Gorn in a brief stopover on your hastily chartered airship ride that will eventually take you to Amersham. But you stopped off in Gorn following that airship's schedule and decided to see the sights a little bit, but then discovered a commotion taking place where some sort of a sideshow act called Freckle, the pig who eats anything, had gone awry when a drunk observer had stolen a young wood elf bard's loot and fed it to Freckle, the pig who eats anything. The bard wanted it back. The halfling owner of the pig was unable to give it back, and a town guard had come to try to settle things. Kind of went worse from there. So now the bard in question, the halfling owner of the pig, and the town guard have all been swallowed into parts unknown by the pig, disappearing into its mouth as though through some kind of magic. And you did manage to get the pig calmed down enough that it stopped swallowing people, and through clever application of alchemy, you persuaded its stomach to release its contents via the mouth, and the pig vomited up a 40-foot pile of junk and garbage, which included a 4-story tower. As though from a castle, which currently sits among the garbage at a slightly cocked angle. And that's where we return to our story. So, Pocket Protectors, what do you want to do?
Hey, it worked.
I'm going to assume that I no longer have the crowd's attention.
Well, yeah.
They really are that good. It's just.
If you
know.
want, you can try to make it. See,
No. I'm okay with not.
No, I know. What I was just going to say is, just purely for flavor, I didn't actually say this, but the image I had at the end of last time was that cartoon-like, as that happened and you stared on in awe, one of your strings broke. Just boing. But you don't have to actually have a string broken. But the point is that, pretty much everyone in the area decided to look over and see what that was.
I'm gonna bend down and pet the pig and be like, "That's a good girl, good girl."
Is there
Freckle
anybody
seems to feel a
buried?
lot better.
Yeah, are the people out?
I'll start moving stuff and calling out. Is there anybody in there, down there?
Yeah. So
Anybody stuck?
go ahead and make an investigation. You can do that at advantage if there's folks helping.
I'll help.
Definitely help. Fine, I'll look on my
Make
own.
my
You can
way
help.
over there.
22.
Yeah, okay. You sort through, and most of this pile is charitably garbage. Not the sort of garbage that you throw out in a compost heap, but broken furniture and that sort of thing, right?
Stuff that a pig might eat in a barbette.
Certainly a pig that is capable of eating things like a broken pitchfork or a chair, that sort of thing, right? Most pigs, even on a barbette, probably not going to eat, a lit lantern. But that's the sort of thing that you're finding in this pile mostly. And you are searching through, and you do here and there spot a few things that kind of are of interest. This is everybody looking, by the way. You do not, however, find any sign of the 3 people so recently swallowed by Freckle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
Well, that could be a good sign.
Has anybody checked the tower?
So you haven't checked the tower yet, but what I will say is that there are a handful of things of interest that you find in the pile that you can either inspect more now or set aside for the moment. But there are a handful
Pocket
of
it
things.
real fast.
Well, there's a few things. Here's the other thing, though, is that there is enough of a crowd that, to be sure, you can decide how you feel about this. If you're just taking stuff out of this pile and putting it in your bag, people are going to see you do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that you necessarily you need to worry about that. I don't know. So you tell me if that concerns you. But you do have an audience for certain.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
so
think mostly I would be concerned with digging through trying to find survivors.
Right. No, I think that makes sense. So no one has checked the tower yet because the entrance to the tower was not immediately accessible, and so in your search through the rest of this pile, you also uncover the front door of this tower, but you have not yet seen anybody in the pile or heard or seen any sign of the people.
Should we knock?
Cool.
I mean, I think that's probably a good idea because who knows who was in that tower before it got swallowed. It could be like a bad
I don't
guy.
think we have to hold on ceremony.
Yeah.
It's just proper manners, though. Like, you don't just walk into someone's house or whatever. No.
There are people missing, and this was just vomited about by a pig.
Well, yes,
Okay,
but
but what if it's
even the police
cursed?
have to announce themselves, so we should knock.
Okay.
Go
And
ahead,
also,
knock.
I mean, it could be cursed. It could be protected.
Also that.
Swallowed by a pig, it's already cursed in a way.
Yeah. Could be double cursed though.
Double
knock.
cursed.
Double plus cursed.
Curse times infinity. I knock on the door.
All right, so everybody but Zinhorn is standing right there by the door, whereas he had briefly helped a kid who skinned his knee in the excitement. And so he was standing a little ways away when the door suddenly flew open, sucked the rest of you inside in a flash, and then slammed closed again. And so there was just a moment where we see Zinhorn turn around and go, huh? Where'd they go? The rest of you, though, suddenly find yourself standing in a cramped little landing just inside a big fancy door that seems to be the other side of the door you just knocked on. What you see ahead of you are a couple of things. So, first, you see a 5 feet ahead of you is a door on your left that seems to be more like an interior door. Past that are stairs that go upward and then turn to the left at the corner of what you can see of the stairs. But as you're kind of like looking around and checking, you also note that there is another door that's only 6 inches tall that's just inside so there's the main entrance door, and as you stand with your back to that door, to your left on the ground, looking all the way down, there is another door that is only 6 inches tall. The only other thing of interest you see in this hallway at the moment, which is lit with a continual flame spell, is there seems to be some sort of an engraved plate with some kind of an arcane sigil that is just to the side of the door that you apparently just got sucked through.
I have to ask, is it bigger on the inside?
Well, at least from what you can see right now, it seems to be the size that you would expect.
Okay.
I want to knock on the little tiny door.
Okay. You get down on your hands and knees.
Get sucked in.
How do you knock? Tell me how you knock on this 6 inch
Well,
tall
if
door.
it's only 6 inches high, I would probably just like with the back of my finger just tap 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 tap. Hello.
You do that. There's no response.
How high up is the plate?
It is at the height, about the same height as the doorknob of the entrance door.
Oh, so I can read it.
It's not words. It's like an arcane symbol, but you could make an arcane.
So I can read it.
Yeah. I'm just clarifying that it would be
No, that's fair.
magic reading.
I can magic read. Ooh, 23.
Okay. This is a fairly straightforward, although fancily done, type of arcane lock, where it's clear that there is some sort of a magic item that's used as a key. Like, it's not a physical traditional key, but its function is essentially the same. Whatever it is that is the key is meant to be tapped against that plate, and it will open the door.
Oh, wow. I've got to think about doing this sometime. It's a very
There-
different lock, which probably means we're locked in.
No, we're not.
Is there a doorknob on the little baby door?
There is.
I'm gonna try to open it.
Okay.
You can kneel down here with me. It's like, look,
Yeah.
it's so cute.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a door for
I think
babies.
as the two of you are down on your hands and knees, Nedry and Sequential would have to like back a little ways away just because it's a relatively cramped little hallway here. So there is, as I mentioned, the one door that's on the same level and then the stairs that go up, but you're just kind of moving away to make room a little bit. But as you reach down, and it's not like a turn doorknob, it's like the thumb press sort of latch, but you can reach down and press that with your finger and pull the door open, and what you see is a hallway that looks like it has stairs that go down. They're very similar in design and appearance to the stairs that you're in now, only they go down from where you are in a hallway that is sized for 6 inches tall.
I wonder if we could fit in there.
I want to call down the stairway. Hello, is anyone in there?
Let's see. Well, are you are you trying to be like really loud or just normal voice?
Well, if anyone's down there, I don't know how far down it goes. So,
It's true.
Probably shouting a little bit, not like screaming or anything, but
Yeah, so
louder than
you,
normal
you can
voice.
see, at the very least, what you can see in there is that the stairs go down to your eyes 9 or 10 inches and then turn to the right. So, like, it looks, just in the appearance, like I said, the architectural design of it seems to be a miniature version of the same kinds of stairs of the hallway that you're in. But you call out there and you, I guess, make a perception check. Anyone who's listening for a response.
Oh, that was terrible.
So I'm thinking.
Five.
I think I can do worse. Oh, shit.
I suddenly went deaf.
So did I.
I rolled a natural 1 plus 6, so.
All right.
So did I.
Wow.
Mine is I did too, because mine's +4.
Okay, so I'm thinking
Wow.
you don't hear anything.
I don't even hear Carolina.
No,
Yeah,
I
suddenly
think
gone
it
deaf. I
Yeah, it
don't know.
might be that Carolina just calls out, but you were just bent right down with her, so she kind of just yelled right in your ear, and you couldn't.
I don't think there's anybody down there.
Well, it's not like we could go check.
How do you know?
It may be designed for a smaller creature. I mean, obviously, but there
yeah.
are creatures smaller than me.
Or it could be magic.
It's probably magic, too.
That, like, you could drink a potion and shrink yourself down and go in there. Didn't we find a potion recently that we didn't know what it was?
No, I think that was a poison one. Like, I think we're in the habit of like tasting everything.
Well, we can still go up. And there's that other door.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's a door
Yeah.
on this level, but then also the stairs that go up.
I will stand up and I'm gonna go knock on the other door.
Okay. So this door is not as sturdy as the entrance door. It does appear to be like an interior door. It does not have like a keyhole on it. You knock and I guess make another perception check, everyone, if you're waiting.
Better. 19.
All right. Yeah.
22.
Yes, well, so both of you then do hear a very small voice saying, "Hello? Hello? Come in. I can't open the door. Come in."
I'm gonna open the door.
Okay.
Been invited.
Yeah. So as you open that door, what you see inside is kind of a sitting room that looks kind of nice and homey, but like neglected. Like everything's kind of dusty. There are two like overstuffed chairs sitting in front of a fireplace that's currently unlit. There's a handful of bookshelves along the walls, although there are certainly obvious gaps where some of the books have been taken. And then there's also a dining table with 4 chairs. There are windows in this room, and everything is a little bit dusty. But you look around, and at least at first, you do not see anyone in here.
Can we see out the windows? Like, does it look like where we came from?
When you look out the window, there's a little bit of a strange effect. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust the volume of this music here. There's a strange effect that gives you a little bit of vertigo. The windows seem to allow enough light through to light the room, but there's some kind of a distortion that prevents you from seeing any real detail outside. And then as you're kind of glancing around the room, you hear that little voice again saying, "Hey, down here!" And you look, and there you see the Hobgoblin Town Guard that got swallowed, only he is now 6 inches tall, standing in the center of the room, waving his hands. "You see me? Here I am!"
I'll crouch down in front of him. What happened? You used to be big.
Yeah, well, in the Gorn Town Guard, we have a saying about adventurers. You have a problem, throw adventurers at it, and all of a sudden you have a completely different problem.
Seems a little bit harsh.
All I know is I was dealing with a pig and an angry bard, and now I'm tiny in a weird magic tower.
That's because the pig swallowed you, and it probably would have done that even if adventurers hadn't come along.
Well,
True.
you know, that's possible, but it's also true that it didn't happen until you came along.
Well, I would also note that you are no longer in the pig. You're still in the tower, but you're not in the pig anymore, so there's that.
Let me back up here. I don't want us to get off on the wrong foot because obviously I do need help here. So if you're capable of helping me out, I would really appreciate that. I was just feeling a little grumpy because I got swallowed by a pig and now I'm tiny in a weird magic tower.
First time, huh?
We kind of look at him weird.
Like, this happens to Nedry every day.
Yeah, I have to
Well,
say that
not
it
this
is.
exact thing, but I have fallen through holes before.
You know, I had gotten polymorphed once, but that wasn't the same.
It's a good thing we came when we did, because this is the sort of thing we're actually looking for. And hopefully we can help you.
Would you feel safer if one of us kind of picked you up so nobody steps on you?
I
'Cause
was
we-
gonna like hold out my hand, see if he wanted a lift.
There's a moment where, I think to make an insight check would be at disadvantage because he's so small. But it wouldn't take much of a check in this case to recognize that, like, he's reluctant. And you can only imagine that it's probably a matter of, like, this town guard doesn't really feel like he wants to get carried around like a hamster, but at the same time, he also doesn't want to get stepped on. So he says, well, maybe just, like, put me on the table or something.
Okay.
Yeah, lift him up and put him on the table.
And so, sure enough, like up there on the table, it is, you know, this same hobgoblin in his uniform, but now he is approximately 1/12 the size that he was before. Doesn't seem to be enjoying it, and so he says, if it won't slow down the process of helping me, mind telling me who you all are?
I'll hand him a business card. Well, I guess I'll
He's
set
too
it on the
small.
table.
Yeah,
Be
like he has to hold it like
and
like
just
this,
kind of
like
set
his
it in
hands-
front of him.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, he kind of hands on his hips and, you know, looking down at this card on the ground. It's like, wow, okay, so that's convenient, I guess.
Comes in handy.
We do hope to help the predicament here.
Hmm.
Have you come across a magical key by any chance?
I mean, does it look like a regular key?
We don't know.
No
I don't
idea.
think that'll be a problem.
Well,
Have you
I
seen
haven't
anyone
seen-
else?
no, it's been just me in here.
Oh,
So
because
you haven't seen the bard or the pig's owner?
the pig swallowed them too.
Okay, maybe we should back up. What exactly happened? Now, you got sucked into the pig. We know that much. But what happened after you left the market?
Well, I wish there was more story to tell you, but basically what happened is that everything went black and there was kind of a whooshing sound, and then I wake up in the middle of a gigantic room, and I kind of thought that maybe it was the room that was big until I saw all of you, and you're the same size as the room, and so I guess it's me that's small.
That would appear to be the case. Well, I was wondering because there's a very small door on the other end of this little entryway here. So there was a big door and a little door, and you were behind the big door.
Okay?
And the little door is like little. Like you could probably easily walk through it, but I don't know where it goes.
You're not doing a great job of selling me this option.
Oh no, I wasn't saying you should go down there. I was just saying I was wondering if maybe you had explored that door and that's why you
I
are
haven't
this way.
explored anything but this room. I was too small to open the big door that you guys just came through.
Yeah, so I can understand that.
So, bookshelf full of books, huh? That's what Nedry's been up to.
Sure, sure. So go ahead and make an investigation check.
Nope, it doesn't seem to have shown up. There it goes.
There it goes.
18.
18. So I think that you quickly come to the conclusion that this is the book collection of a wizard.
Oh,
However, it's also true that just based on the books that remain and the books or the gaps where other books would be, and making a quick survey of how they seem to be organized, you suspect that like pretty much all of the books that you have found remaining on the shelf are, you know, magic and wizardry related, but relatively like rudimentary and common books. And it looks as though whoever owned these books knew which ones were the more interesting and valuable ones, and those are not here. So you see places where it would make sense for a higher level book to be, but that's where the gaps are.
somebody left this tower in a bit of a hurry in a way, but they knew what they were looking for.
Or maybe they're still here.
Maybe.
Like hidden
That's the
in
case.
room.
Their books would be too.
No, they would take them with them
Exactly.
to
If
another
they're
room.
still here, then hopefully they'll have their books. But they probably didn't intend this to happen for their tower.
Is there another door in here? Did you say?
No, it would appear that it is just this one single room on this level.
No little 6-inch doors on the ground level,
Uh,
like hidden
so
behind anything. or-
the room is not so big that it wouldn't that it would take more than a couple minutes to make a survey of that. You do not see any other small doors. You know, just looking around like the the base of the walls.
They're still upstairs to take a look at.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's my next question to the guard. I'm sorry, I don't think we caught your name.
Oh, yes. Well, I am, Rovak. So, nice to meet you.
I wish it were under better circumstances. But Roebuck,
Rovak.
would you
V with a V.
Roebuck.
Rovak.
Roebuck, would you prefer to stay here or come with us as we look around the rest of the tower? I think I'll be able to get us out pretty easily. But there are 2 other people at least that might be in this tower, so we have to look for them. Do you want to stay here or do you want to come with us?
Well, I mean, I'm not in much shape to protect myself if there's danger, but I definitely don't want to be stuck by myself in a room where I can't reach the doorknob again if something does happen. So I guess it's probably better if I come with you.
Want to get in my backpack?
I don't know if that's a good idea.
No, never mind. You
Mm-mm.
can't get in there. No, you're right. That's not a good idea.
Okay.
Do you want to ride? I'm going to offer him my shoulder.
Well,
it
yeah.
seems like the best way for you to keep up with us.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, yeah, I don't know. It's complicated. This is an unusual experience for me, I have to say.
Not for me.
All right. Well,
I get lifts
mean,
on shoulders all the time. It's really quite nice.
Well, here, how about this?
Does one of you have just like I don't know, like a pocket on an exterior pocket on the front or anything?
They're all being
like that?
protected right now.
Okay.
No. No.
I would
because
imagine that I have one. Like yeah. It
Um,
seems like it would make sense to have pockets.
my Clackle building does not have a pocket on the outside.
Okay.
Well, yeah, my concern, of course, is just that, like, on a shoulder, like, you know, if you have to jump back or something, I don't want to fall.
Hmm. Hold on. Let me see. Let me take a look at.
So you have one of those cool cups that you get at the Renaissance Fair strapped to your belt.
Well, I
You can
mean, I
ride
have
around in that.
pouches and stuff.
Well, you are that you do notice that here in this room there is that dining room, and there does seem to be like sort of a dish cupboard sort of bit of furniture there.
Maybe
there
there'd be
any
a little basket or
steins?
something.
Yeah, so you look in there, and there do appear to be a couple of beer steins, both with tops and without.
I'll take one without and check my belt to see if I can loop it on there.
Yeah, sure. I think that works just fine. You know, as you know, it's a little bit unsteady for him, but there's enough of a height to it that he can kind of look over the top while standing inside and not worry about, might get jostled, but he won't likely fall out unless you really tip over.
Do you want me to take a lid in case of danger? Then I can put the lid on.
I think I'd rather be able to escape if I need to.
Good
In case of
thinking.
an accident, I want to be thrown free.
Good thinking. All right.
All right.
Well, stairs.
I'd recommend that we prop the door open in case
In
we end up
case we
dumped
get
back
into
in here.
6 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
what do you
stack
do?
the books.
Well, there are chairs.
Yeah, I'd take a chair and
Oh
like
yeah.
prop
Okay.
it against there.
Sure. Yeah, all the door does open into the room because there's a lot more space in the room than in the narrow hallway, so it's easy enough to prop a chair in there. All right. So you climb up the go back into the hallway and go up the stairs.
The stairs.
I would make sure to point out the little door to Rovik.
And so, sure enough, yeah, he kind of just says, "Huh," but yeah, looking at it, just again seeing him, it does seem like it is perfectly proportioned to how much smaller he is.
Mhm.
You might have just entered through the wrong door the first time. The whooshing sound and the darkness.
Yeah, well,
No, I'm-
I didn't see any signs or anything.
That makes me wonder if there's any big people cramped down there.
Well, I didn't hear anything earlier. Did you hear anything?
Well, no, because you kind of screamed in my ear.
Oh, I'm
It was raining.
So as you are climbing the stairs, they go up about 1 floor's worth, right? And then there's a landing at the very top in what appears to be the corner of the building, and then it turns left. As you turn left, the landing extends just far enough for there to be another interior door to go back into the center of the tower on the second floor, but there's also more stairs going further up at a right angle to the first set.
I think I would design my tower a little differently. Although I will admit the small tiny door is kind of intriguing. Although it's more like
Yeah.
a prison, really, with a block on the inside. Interesting.
You said there was another door.
So there is
Yeah.
another door that would go into whatever the room is on the second floor, or stairs that keep going up.
Well, we should definitely check out the room.
Are there any
Yeah.
little 6-inch doors like around the bottom?
Nope. I'll take as granted that you're looking for those now, and I'll
Okay.
let you know if there are any.
So I'll knock again.
Looking for giant doors too.
Yeah.
So far, there hasn't been room for any, but I will, that will definitely be a feature worth noting in any room that you
I mean, a manner of speaking, the whole building is actually a giant door.
Knock, knock, knock.
Sure.
Yeah,
Hello?
you don't hear any reply.
Kind of. Is it a one of those push?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it's
button things again?
identical to the first floor door. So it opens inward, or like into the room. And as you look in there, the proportions of the room are the same, but what you see in there is that this room seems to be kind of divided into two functions. One is definitely a kitchen with kind of a pantry, like there's shelves that have a lot of various foodstuffs on them, and then there's an oven and a sink and ordinary sorts of kitchen things. And then the other half of the room seems to be like an alchemy lab. Like there's alchemists' tools and various beakers and so on. And it looks like there is stuff there, but it's been put away neatly, right? Like it wasn't, like the things weren't taken away from it. It wasn't in the middle of something. Whoever was running this, like, put the stuff away appropriately. But once again, everything's kind of covered with dust.
Did you say there was a sink? Like with a faucet and everything?
Yep.
Can I go see if it works?
Yes. What I will also say is that it's not so common that everyone would have it, but like running water of that type is something that you would have seen before.
Well, yeah, but where does the water come from?
No, that's a good point. Yeah.
It's
Just kind of
magic.
like turning it on and turning it off. What is this?
As you're on your way to the sink, I'm going to just assume, because you would have no reason not to, that you would be walking across the center of the room. But as you pass where the halfway point in the room is, you bonk your face on an apparent invisible wall.
In front of the kitchen portion?
Yeah, well, so
The
like
dividing
you're
room?
so it when you went to like cross over from one side of the room to the other, you entered on the alchemy lab side, and as you went to cross over to the other side, you boom into like a force field.
Okay, well, I'll probably start doing the mime thing and like feeling along the wall
Yeah.
if there's any like gaps or anything.
Sure.
Can somebody dispel magic, maybe?
Well, so as you're feeling around, you do see that this force field does seem to entirely, floor to ceiling, divide the two halves of the room, except for an opening about the size of a doorway against the wall.
Oh. Kind of go in that way then. See, well, I will duck my head in that way. So
Yeah.
Does her head shrink down?
No,
I'm gonna check it out first.
Head does not shrink. There doesn't seem to be, like, once you have found that gap, doesn't seem to be any obstruction there, and you can go over to the sink. The sink is not large, but it does have like a faucet and a drain. It is notable that at least from what you can see inside the room, you don't see any pipes leading to or from the sink. The faucet seems to be coming right out of the stone wall.
So if I look back, I can see through to where everybody else is, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like it's
so
just
this
like-
force field is completely
This is weird.
transparent. I wouldn't have had you run your face into it if it wasn't invisible.
Nedry will kind of walk over and tap it.
Huh. Master always said that alchemists were dangerous fools, but this one seems to have been pretty smart.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like a blast wall, in case
Well-
something over there doesn't go right.
I think, Nedry, with your training, you would certainly have seen a wall of force done before. This appears to perhaps be some kind of a permanently enchanted one, but otherwise its properties are similar.
Makes a good place to hide in case anything is exploding.
did you see the
Which-
sink? Look, there's no pipes.
It's-
Yeah, it does. The water does. Does pour when you turn it on.
Nedry looks confused, opens up his book and starts writing down more questions.
Convenient.
Well, I don't
So
see
Don't-
anybody in here.
like I can make with my ability, I can make like a little shadow hut, and I think that other like wizards and stuff could do things like that too. What if like the wizard that lived here had some way to do that and made it permanent, and something happened to it?
I
Got
think,
displaced or something.
so that is exactly the information I would have given you if you had rolled well on an Arcana check. So I'll just go ahead and confirm that between you and Nedry, you agree that seems to be exactly what happened here. Is that it is a permanently enchanted wall that, and in fact, I think, after, going through it a little bit, you're realizing like, well, you could also have just like a wall, but this wall is impermeable, but also you can see through it to, for example, monitor your alchemy experiment while you're cooking pasta. Or, anything
Crazy.
you want to cook, really. I mean, it doesn't have to be pasta. It could be fish or, grilled
Ramen.
cheese.
Well, I'm done with this room now.
All right.
Yeah, no other
I'm
people.
bored now.
Do you want
Dance
to check the
away.
water?
Yeah,
again?
Robot is like, no, and it sees a magic key. I mean, what are we even looking for? Like, what does the magic key look like?
We don't know.
I told you, I don't really think we need it.
All right, well, so you keep saying that. I sort of feel like if we don't need a magic key, why are we still here?
Well,
Yeah.
there's other people that we're still looking for.
Oh, right. Okay. No, that makes sense.
It also might not solve your problem.
What do you mean?
You might be
the-
sick.
the
One
size issue.
problem at a
Forever.
time.
You think
One
I'd
thing at
stay
a
small even when we leave?
I
I'm
don't
sure
know.
there's ways to undo that.
It's
But
possible.
like I said, one problem at a time. And
One problem
I'm
at a
gonna
time.
Start skipping up the stairs.
All right.
How can you work
So-
on only one problem at a time?
Then he
So,
follows.
as you go up the stairs, it's a very similar layout. The stairs go up one level. There's a slight landing at the corner where you turn left again. The landing extends just long enough for another door to go into the third floor. And once again, more stairs that go further up.
Another door.
All right.
Yeah.
Knock.
Let's check it.
Hello.
Okay. So, once again, you knock.
Mm-hmm.
You don't hear any reply, but you do hear a strange sort of muffled big thumping, almost like someone was like knocked over a really big piece of furniture. But what you hear that from like further up, not from behind the door.
Well,
Maybe we should check out what's above before we check out this room.
Probably.
Just because that one time we were supposed to go to the library first, and then the whole world was on fire.
yeah,
Wait,
but we're
is this the
here.
library?
Yeah, but which is the library in this instance? Is it the room in the third floor, or is it the thing up there? Because
I'll open the door. I'm just gonna push it open.
yeah.
Whatever we don't do will always be the library.
Exactly. So, inside the room on the third floor, this appears to be a bedroom. There is a luxurious carved wooden bed with a feather mattress and fine, though dusty, sheets with blanket and pillows. And there's a wardrobe in there and a like a writing desk.
I'm going
there
to go
anything
and
on the
flop on the
desk?
bed.
So you flop on the bed, and it
Cloud
is
of
extremely comfortable. Like it's very soft, except that yes, whoosh, there's just dust everywhere, and yeah.
Is there anything on the desk, or like are there drawers?
So
that we can look in?
there are drawers. There's nothing on the top of the desk, but there are drawers.
I will see if I can open them and
Okay.
look through them.
You
Get
can.
in them drawers.
What you see is once again there is a well, once again you haven't checked these drawers before, but once again you see evidence that someone collected certain things they found important and put everything else away in a tidy fashion. So in the drawers you see things like bottles of ink of a variety of types. I think if Nedry looked at those, he would certainly recognize that several of them are the types that you use to scribe spells or scrolls. There's various bits of parchment of various qualities, quills and so on in there. But as everyone is kind of looking around this room, let's have one investigation check can be done at advantage. Whoever wants to roll that.
I'll do it.
I am not good at those, so. Oh, help.
Where's the other one? Oh, 19.
19. Okay. So what you definitely discover is, in addition to what I already described in the wardrobe, there are several fancy-looking wizardy style robes, although certainly to anyone who pays attention to fashion, they do seem rather out of date.
I was going to go look for some hats.
But it does, once again, like the wardrobe is only about half full, like someone maybe packed a bag.
Is there just like one crazy hat? Because that would just make my day.
Roll a d20.
Come here, D20. There we go. 18.
18. That is high enough that I will allow you to describe whatever hat you want. And that's fine.
So Carolina kind of pushes aside the robes and like looks to the back, and you just hear this gasp, and she pulls out this. It's very much like the Sorcerer's Apprentice, kind of that shape. So very triangular, and it's got a brim, and she sticks it on her head, only it's got like some like it's got almost got like a, looks like it could be a one of those gauzy veils that you could pull down, like almost beekeeper style. And a few feathers, like just weird, they're kind of crushed a little bit, but all in bright purples and golds, and a little bit of silver sparkle to it, but it's old and kind of dusty, but she looks ecstatic.
Classic.
Kind of lean over to Zaline. Should anyone point out that we're in a wizard's tower and she just sort of put on a hat without checking first?
Yes, I think that it would mean a lot to her if it came especially from you, who has experience with things like that.
I don't think she'd want to hear it from me.
You want me to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. Carolina, don't. Maybe you shouldn't put that on because we don't know where it's been. And this obviously was a wizard's tower. And we don't know. I mean, come on, running water without any pipes. Who knows what
Yes,
could
that's a
happen?
good
A detail
point.
that
And
I
so she just kind of hesitates and like tries, like scrunches her eyes closed before she like pulls it off.
just a detail that I neglected to mention in the kitchen pantry was that despite the fact that there's a layer of dust over everything, there is a handful of things in that pantry, like breads and other sort of preserved things, but including some produce that all seemed to be perfectly fresh. But just more magic stuff. Like you guys have certainly heard of like food preservation charms that are usually used for rich people.
Yeah, I don't want you to get turned into like a toad or anything like that because I don't know how to undo that. I mean, Nedry might, but and
Not yet.
Zinmore might, but he's not
Or
here.
try to kill us all. Yeah.
Yeah, but we just
Can I take it
bring it
with?
with us. Yeah. Maybe Nedry could put it in the backpack.
Can you put it in your backpack?
How big is it?
big enough.
I think you would have to mush the hat a little
Yeah,
bit. To get it through the opening,
is it
but-
okay if it gets squished? Because
Yeah, I guess it's okay. I didn't
Okay.
want to go in there with the.
It's already a
Bad
little
guy.
mushed, as he said.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully it doesn't get tainted by the cursed crow.
All right.
Stuffs it in there.
Zaleen, Zaleen and Carolina can both make insight checks with disadvantage.
Okay.
Not good at those anyway.
Ooh, 7.
Wait, did it only roll one?
Yeah.
The only one showed up.
Yeah, just roll again.
Yeah, oh wait, there's another one. The other one is 10. Like
Okay.
that was really delayed. So 6 and 10.
All right,
So
yeah.
6.
So,
7.
I'll let Sequential and Nedry do their own rolls with disadvantage if you want. Not
I
that
mean,
this
insight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
is this is
All right.
not the insight heavy. Proof here.
Disadvantage.
Let's see. There's a way to roll with this. Oops.
5.
8.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So you are all
It's fine.
5 was a
Everything's
nat
fine.
1. Plus
So,
4.
yes,
The 8 was an
all of
8.
you are just busied with the excitement of mushing a fancy hat into a magic backpack for a few minutes.
Yeah. Should we go upstairs?
Oh, sorry. There was one other thing that you found, but when you did your investigation check that I didn't get to because we got
Oh,
talking
okay.
about hats.
Sorry.
Hat
No,
track.
no,
You got hat
hey,
track.
no, I wouldn't trade that hat for anything. I'm just saying that, like, returning now to what was the regularly scheduled investigation check, you do find what looks like there is a crumpled piece of parchment in, like, an otherwise empty sort of, like, trash can sort of
Okay.
thing. You
I
know,
will
it's like
pick it
it's a
up.
wastebasket, like it's a simple thing, but you pick that up and you unfurl it, smooth it out. It does seem to be a letter that was not completed, and what it says is, I've decided to put the tower away. It shouldn't be found by anyone where I'll leave it. So, hopefully, if we ever need it again, and then it just sort of trails off, but that's all that's on there.
Oh. This whole tower is like my hut. Like they made it permanent or something, and they put it somewhere. And
I wonder
I
if they
wonder-
put it inside the pig.
I don't think
Or-
so.
Whatever was inside the pig. Whatever might actually still be inside the pig.
I mean, maybe.
You hear another one of those strange sort of muffled thumps, and this time there's sort of a little bit of a vibration, like up through the ceiling, but the sound comes down the hallway.
Maybe
We need to
there's
check that out.
giants up there.
Yeah, we should probably check that out.
Yeah, but hey, you got a hat.
Very intrigued about the spatio-temporal relationship of this tower.
Yeah. Well, so as you go up the stairs there, and once again make that same left turn, there is a door that would go to the interior of the 4th floor, but the stairs that continue upward don't have another landing at the top. Instead, just before where the landing would be, if it followed the pattern of the other floors, there is another door that looks like the small door, except that this one is normal size.
Should we check out the first door on the 4th floor
Yeah.
before
I think
Is there any
so.
sound
we
coming
do
from
them
it?
in order?
So I would make you make perception checks, except that as soon as you stop talking and listen, yes, there's definitely sound like something big moving in there.
I will hesitantly knock. Hello?
You hear a very loud, sort of booming, sort of, "What's that? Hello? Help!"
Oh,
Open
maybe
the
it's maybe it's the owner of the pig. So kind of, I don't. If the door opens inward, that might be a problem, but I'll try.
So
Wait.
you-
Ask him if he's okay in there. Like maybe he's trapped or something, and like if you open the door, you'll hurt him.
Is it okay if we open the door?
I can't see a door, but help, ow.
Okay, I'm opening the door. I'm gonna try.
You get the door open about 6 inches before it bunks into something, but as you kind of peer around, you see an ankle the size of an enormous old growth oak. And as your mind starts to kind of process, you realize that it is indeed the halfling, now somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 feet tall, cramped in a tiny room that can barely hold him.
Oh dear.
He's a holing now.
Doubling.
A doubling, yeah.
Supersized
Quadling.
Um,
Yeah. So you trying to open the door a little bit just really bonks into what looks like his foot, which is kind of crammed in the corner of the room and kind of partially obstructing the door. You think that probably, if you tried to force your way in, there might be just enough room for one of you to kind of stand in there. But most of the room, like, he is literally like cramped up in like a fetal position to even fit in this room at all.
can anybody do polymorph?
No.
I had the option to take, like, reduce, enlarge, and I did not. It's unfortunate.
So once again, this big voice says, "What is that?" And he kind of tries to shift and he almost like presses the door closed on you again.
Whoa, wait. Just stay there.
I can't see where you are. You're at my feet.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Hey.
We're here to help.
Where? Can you tell us where you found that pig?
Well, Freckle was always on. Freckle was just one of I never named that the farmer. One of the pigs on the farm where I worked.
Okay, could Freckle always eat anything, or was this a new development?
Well, why are we talking? Well, okay. I mean, I was about to ask while you're asking about Freckle, but I kind of thought for a second and put it together. This is not how he talked before. He's big now, so sounds different. Well, Freckle couldn't always do it. It was more like after that last weird thunderstorm.
The one from yesterday?
No, this was like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, that's different. I don't know what that is then.
Yeah. Yeah, we weren't here then. But, so she just woke up and could...
Well, the thunder was not usual and it spooked her. I chased her into the forest and as soon as I found her, she just ate a big boulder, like 6 feet across, like it was nothing.
Where did you find her exactly? Like, was there anything interesting around where she was? Like, maybe a cave or...
Well, it was in the middle of the forest, which I suppose how interesting you think that is depends quite a lot on what kind of person you are.
Well,
I don't know that that's going to be helpful anyway, because
Yeah,
it's not like
well,
we
I
can go there
mean-
right now.
no, but
Can you help me? I'm a little cramped right now.
Not really.
Yeah,
Well,
this
I mean,
door is
trying.
far too small.
Yeah.
From your belt, Zeline, you hear it's like, well, now I have to say I don't quite feel so bad.
We have like opposite problems here.
Yeah.
Well, there's still one missing.
Yeah.
Kind of
Still
look
one
up.
door.
I mean, I wonder if we could take the door off so we could at least stretch out a little more.
What
Uh,
kind of room is it?
Can't see anything.
I can't see anything but my own elbow, but there's something sparky that keeps stinging my butt.
Arky.
And then you actually hear sort of a little bit like a little kind of like zap pop, and he goes, "Ay!" There it goes again.
Nedry, did you? You're pretty small. Do you want to see if you can like scramble around and see what it is? Or maybe our friend. Well, I don't want
Yeah,
to volunteer
maybe-
you for anything, but
Well, we could ask him.
Nedry might know what he was looking at if it was something magical.
True.
It's kind of neat that being small actually works in my advantage for once. But I can definitely take a look.
If you can fit.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of squeeze around various parts of it, but a lot of the issue essentially is that, like, most of the room is full of giant halfling. So it's like, he is literally, like, pressed up against the walls in almost every area. Now, you would be better at being able to try to crawl over him and navigate that better. I mean, you're action figure sized compared to to this guy. In this room, and he is occupying almost all of the room.
So
Can I see an
just-
open space beyond him at all? Like a pocket that he might not be consuming?
No, it looks like in fact, make an Arcana check.
Yeah, only 13.
Okay. Well, I'll even go ahead and give you for that you have heard with spells like enlarge and reduce. You've heard of those spells, and because this is the sort of thing that wizard students like to imagine is like, well, what if you cast enlarge on a person that was in a tiny little box that was just big enough for them, and then you cast enlarge on them, like would it explode the box or whatever? And that the as cool as it would be if it exploded the box or crushed the person, the actual answer is that like size changing magic only will change to the allowed space. And so looking at this, you would gather, like, for all you know, he might have gotten even bigger, but whatever it was limited him to the size that was available. But what that means is he is literally as big as he could possibly be and fit in the room.
Well, I don't know if that's an effect of this place, but I have something I can try. I'm not sure if it'll work in this case. These sort of transdimensional elements and pocket spaces have a very different theory of magic than I'm used to, and I'm still learning.
But I am going to try to step forward and try to cast Dispel Magic on the embiggen that's going on to the creature,
Okay.
the halfling.
I think that it doesn't take hold. Like your trying to dispel magic on the halfling doesn't find any magic there.
Yeah, that's kind of how I thought. It doesn't seem to affect it the same way. It's a property, most likely, of this tower itself. Possibly a security feature, or possibly by design.
Hey, Nedry, do you think you could put him in the bag? In the backpack?
It might
Like if
work,
you-
but he might be too large for it, too.
So like
I
the
mean, it would be
effect
worth a
wouldn't
try.
stop if he left the tower. Wouldn't he technically be leaving the tower if he went in the bag?
That's what I was thinking.
Maybe, but towers like this are often warded against teleportation, so it could be risky. I can try it.
I mean,
It does
Yes.
risk potentially harming the bag.
But also, you wouldn't be alone. That might be a little scary.
Well, we
I mean,
could go in and take a look, but
Why don't we go look at the top floor first and maybe there's something that'll turn all of this off?
Yeah.
maybe. Roebuck, do you want to question him at all? Do you have any questions for him? Because we could leave you here with him, and like you could take his statement if you wanted to, and that way,
Your
if there's anything
constable
dangerous up there,
related duties.
He
that way,
kind of
if there's danger.
he glances in the doorway where you can see a sliver of room that is basically entirely occupied by a halfling that is the size of a mountain to him, and he says, you know what? I think there's time for that later.
Okay. I was just checking.
No, I appreciate the thought. I was a little worried that I wouldn't carry the full respect of my office at this size, but I appreciate your considering my opinion and feelings on these things, even though I'm small.
Of course. Of course. Small people are just like big people.
And in the meantime, the halfling is kind of saying, well, I always thought it might be nice to be big, but I can't say I'm enjoying it right at the moment.
Okay, well, just try to stay calm. We're gonna try to
There's
help
another,
everybody.
that same sort of electrical pop, and he kind of jerks again. That's no good. Ow.
I mean, can't see that at all, right?
No.
Does it have like a familiar
it-
sound at all? Like
The sound seems to be coming from like the direction where his butt is. Like it's like, so his whole sort of, rear end is like pressed into one corner of the room, and it's coming from that like area. So there's definitely not a lot of room there.
Sir, we didn't get your name.
Oh, well, it's Burgess Humble Hill.
Okay, Burgess, I recommend that if your stomach is upset, you don't pass any gas until we get back to you.
There's a long moment, and he says, well, I didn't before. All right.
But I'm gonna
see
now.
what I can do.
Yeah, try to hold that in, because we don't know what, we don't want anything bad to happen to you.
I don't want that either.
All right, hold it in.
It'll be fine.
This is fine. All right, we'll be back.
So what I will say, as Nedry had kind of looked around to just try to sort of figure, like, as you had briefly, entertained the idea of, is that you do think that someone who is of the size that Rovak currently is could probably get in or around the edges where the little corners of the room that are not currently occupied by halfling. But it would obviously also be still somewhat dangerous, but there would be room for someone of that size potentially. But it's also true that Rovak wouldn't necessarily know what he's looking at.
and he might be under threat if that Sparky thing.
Could get crushed. So, top floor, we still have one more person to find.
Mm-hmm.
So you climb up the stairs, and once again, like this time, there's no landing to stand on before the door. It's just, right there, and it is a different kind of door. But
We'll knock
it is
again.
like it's of the same style that the little one was. You knock,
Okay.
and there's no response.
Can
Burgess
we
says,
check
"Hello?"
for traps?
Check for traps. Okay, yeah. Investigation.
Now?
Oh.
Yeah, well, I mean, this door is different. I don't know.
I will stand back and let her take the lead on that one.
8.
8. I mean,
I'm
you don't see
second
any
today.
traps. Like it's like you don't see any. Like
It looks good.
it's fancier, but it looks like a regular door as far as you can tell.
I think it's fine. I guess I'll
I think-
open it since Carolina moved.
Yeah. So you open it, and it's obvious, you know, the question of is it bigger on the inside was asked earlier. This door opens into an enormous area. And at first you're just trying to like look like this, it's huge. It's easily 60 feet across. But then you kind of step through a little bit more and look up and around. And it looks like that first floor landing where you came in, except as sized as though you have just exited through that little tiny door.
Is the door down the hall propped open by a chair?
Yes.
I thought so.
Interesting.
So what if we go back downstairs and Rovak goes through the little door and comes out the big door? Maybe he'll be normal size?
It seems like it.
Okay,
I
That's
didn't
so
follow
logical.
all of that, but if there's a way to get me normal sized, I'm interested.
we're gonna try it. Do you guys, two of you, want to stay up here and two of us can go down?
I'll stay here.
Sure.
Okay. Nedry, do you want to stay here or come with me in case there's anything exciting?
That's a really tough choice.
I
Do I want to
know.
be taller than Carolina for once?
Maybe.
No, that's okay. I'll go with
Okay.
you.
Okay.
So just so he doesn't feel like after saying that, I will get down like on my knees and just kind of sit there next to him.
Okay. So we have Sequential and Zaleen taking Rovak back around to the first floor while Carolina and Nedry stay.
Yeah.
All right. So assuming that you aren't, you know, sightseeing or anything, you're pretty much just going down and down and down and down. When you come around, you know, back to the first floor again, you see the door propped open as you left it, and then you make your way over to that landing and you see that the little tiny door is open, and sure enough, there is a little tiny 6-inch Carolina and a little tiny 3-inch Nedry there. And Carolina from Nedry,
Wow.
Nedry, you are now seeing Zaleen and Sequential just towering over you.
This is perfect. This will allow us entry into the other room.
Pretty wild.
Ooh,
Yeah.
not so fast.
Like
Every
certainly,
Step around, I
so
can feel a wind blowing.
yeah,
So,
Zaleen and Sequential, you certainly don't feel any different, and Carolina and Nedry, like you don't feel any different either. I mean, you just stayed in the same place.
okay, so Robot, do you want to go through the door and come out upstairs and see if that changes
I
you
mean,
back to normal?
I guess. So you kind of set him down, and as you let him out on the by that little tiny door for Carolina and Nedry, now he is back to the size that you knew him as outside, and he's kind of like, well, I guess this is better, is it? Or are you just small now too? I'm confused.
Well, let's go find out and walk down the stairs to the first floor where the others are.
Mm-hmm.
He's staying here, by the way. He's not going through the door again.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so as you, the rest of you go back down around again, retracing your steps, Rovak comes with you, and he stays the same size as the rest of you.
Wow.
Stays full size, except that now, of course, when you reach that first floor landing again, it's just Nedry that's tiny and 3 inches down there by the little door.
Oh my
The
gosh,
rest
she's
of
so
you are-
cute. So I'm going to put my hand down for Nedry to climb up. It's like, you want to go see the giant guy again?
Yeah.
This little tiny squeaky Nedry voice.
Beanie Nedry.
That's
Okay.
something here makes sense.
I will like hold him like this and kind of like bounce my way back up the stairs to the giant halfling.
Okay.
Don't drop
Lot of
it.
moving.
It's fine. It's fine.
Rovak is kind of leans over to Nedry and just says, You know, if you want to try the Stein, it seemed to work pretty well. Although, I mean, I guess I don't know if you'd be able
It'd be
to
too
see
big
over
for
the
me.
top. All right. Well, I'm just trying to help. I've been there. You know.
It's okay. This is fine.
All right. So you reach that the fourth floor again, and you know, Burgess is still there. And
No,
so,
we gotta figure out
yeah.
how to get him through the
So
door.
And
Nedry
now,
will
Nedry,
yell up, but
this halfling is the size of a mountain to you.
I don't know if he can hear me. But Nedry will try to yell up to Burgess.
This might tickle a bit. It's just me trying to help.
Someone's saying something. I can't hear you.
We're sending in a little person to try to assess the situation.
So
So,
try not to
Don't
move
say
much.
little
Try
person.
not to move at all. Please.
All
He's a
right.
shrunken person with a big heart.
Uh-huh.
I
All
will
right,
put
so-
Nedry down on the ground and let him go do his thing.
Actually, if you could give me a lift up onto that, I can't really climb his foot or leg.
Oh,
Well, so I
Okay.
think so on the floor so at your current size there is plenty of room. Like most of the
Okay.
most of the room is still full, but he doesn't fill like the right angle corners, and you are now small enough that you can just walk right along the gap left behind.
Okay. So he'll start making his way back around to where the Sparky is.
So go ahead and make a perception check to try to understand what you're seeing as you walk along, a gigantic hill of, canvas covered halfling butt.
Yeah, that's going to be bad. Let's see. Yep, that's definitely bad.
Okay.
Kind of smells.
Yeah. Well, a lot of what you're able to see as you make your way through there is that whatever furniture and stuff was in this room is smashed to pieces by the presence of a gigantic halfling in it. It's literally crushed everything against the walls. But you are able to, get around the back, and it's a little bit trickier back here because it's clear that although you could still walk, in the gap down at the very bottom corner to get around, this is where his lower back and butt are pressed against one corner of the room. And it seems like whatever it is higher up. So you're going to have to climb him.
Can I see a platform near where I want to be?
Well, like what kind of platform do you imagine?
Someplace I can stand. Well, I guess the top of his leg or his top of his thigh, or if that's what I'm.
So,
Because I'm going to climb to something. I'm not trying to see if I can see
Yeah.
something I can climb to.
all right. So what I want you to envision in terms of the spatial geometry here is, now imagine that you have a right angle corner of your room, and you were to
Mhm.
lay down on your side and just scoot your butt all the way up into the corner as much as possible. And now imagine that you are a little tiny little person that could just stand in the little gap because it's a round butt against a right angle corner. But most of what you're looking for seems to be being pressed against the wall by the lower back. And so you don't really see anything here because the soft, fleshy hindquarters are sort of obstructing it. But if you climbed up a little bit, you think you might be able to see
Okay.
something.
It's like calculating the curvature of the girth.
Mm-hmm.
To
I will
Okay.
let you make an investigation check first to possibly give you advantage on an athletics check.
That would definitely help. Let's see. How big is that stitch?
that's a 16.
Yeah, I think that with your in your initial investigation, you have found a path that will be easier to climb. Along the seam, the stitched seam of his breeches.
Kind of taking internal notes to note about giant climbing if it should ever come up later.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oh yes, acrobatics. You said.
Mm-hmm. Athletics. Athletics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oof.
but with
All right.
advantage.
Yep, that's okay. So there's a 7. That's the best of the two.
Okay. Yeah, I think that you're not making a lot of headway. This is a difficult climb because it's more mobile than your things you usually climb, and you also don't usually climb at all.
Right.
So you're kind of it seems like it's a good route, but you just keep sort of slipping off because you're having, you don't have a lot of grip strength.
Okay. Actually, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to look up to the space over where I think I want to be.
Okay.
Just the open space.
All right.
And I'm going to cast Misty Step.
Okay. It does just occur to me right now that, how far...
I know, the scale is weird,
like,
so I have no idea.
Yeah, is it 30 feet relative to you, or is there, I think it can only be 30 feet relative to you. There's no other absolute scale that makes any sense. So you are able to poof up, what is 30 feet to you, but that certainly gets you up higher than you would have been to start, and I think you can grab on up there.
Can I see anything more accurately from here?
Yes, I think from here you can see that there is something that is currently being sort of crushed against the wall, and it looks to have some arcane magical sort of components to it, but you can't fully see all of what it is because it's smushed against the wall.
Okay.
It does
and
seem to be at least partly broken, though.
I'm still below it, though.
Yeah, I would say it's another relevant, equivalent to you. It is probably something in the neighborhood of another 35 feet above you.
Okay. Well,
you can definitely, you see it spark though, and make a dexterity saving throw as it sparks, and
that's gonna go well.
Yeah.
Is it magic? No, that doesn't matter. 7.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay. I think that you find that you slide back all the way down to the bottom, and you don't land hard and hurt yourself, but you are now on the floor again.
I have an idea. Can I cast Mage Hand to lift Nedry? Will that work? I mean, he's only tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be less than 10 pounds.
I mean, I can't think of any reason why that wouldn't work. In terms of you would be able to use Mage Hand to lift him.
For reference, according to the calculations, he's normally 38 pounds. So he's very, very small at this point. But he is going to kind of come back, back out from where.
Specifically, if you guys want to do the math, I'm using this as an approximately 12-fold reduction of height. And so basically you would weigh 144th of what you normally weigh.
Wow. So it's
It's very late.
that's a lot.
So certainly Mage Hand could do
Okay.
Right. So Nedry's going to come back out.
I've got an idea, but it's going to depend on how well you can throw me.
Why do you need to be threatened? Hold on. Where do
I
you need
can't
to go?
climb him too well, and I can't seem to get far enough with teleportation alone.
Well,
Good news,
how
teleportation works.
How about this? And I will cast Mage Hand and try to lift Nedry. I assume it will be invisible.
No, the Mage
No,
Hand
it's
is not
explicitly
invisible.
visible.
Yeah.
Oh, it is visible?
Yeah, you have to have a
Okay, so I would
special,
cast it on the floor
rope.
next to him then.
Yeah.
It's try that.
I'll step on.
Oh, wait, I'm talking
Okay.
to bigger people again.
I'll step on.
So where do you want to go?
Okay, it's over far corner, just behind his back.
I'll try to direct Carolina to the area I want to go.
Yeah.
And actually, just keep me high up, and as I'm moving along, I'll use telepathy to keep in contact with her.
Nice. So yeah, I think that you are now. It's like when you remember how awe-inspiring it was to see the city and the landscape below you as you rode in the airship for the first time. Now it's that same experience riding above this landscape on the mage hand, but the landscape instead of the rolling hills and dense blocks of
Rolling
the city, it
halfling.
is
Well, still rolling hills,
yes.
just kind of different.
yeah.
You're much fleshier.
I keep moving. This is really weird.
So I think with Nedry's direction, you don't need to necessarily see where he's doing. If he's able to say, like 1 foot further along, or that sort of thing.
No,
Yeah.
your feet, not mine.
So as you direct her, where are you trying to go? This is working, so you can go
Okay.
where you like, essentially.
So I want to kind of be above, first of all, the thing that's sparking to see if I can see a better image of it, and then try to get closer.
Yeah, you can see it definitely better from the top, because as he's trying to pull away from it, because it keeps zapping him, he's better able to pull away from like the top rather than where his weight's sitting on the bottom. But so you definitely see that there is like the splintered remains of a wooden table, and then there is some kind of an arcane device that is enormous to you now, but you suspect would be, perhaps 6 or 7 inches across, with a sort of like slightly gyroscope looking mechanism in it. But it looks like that has been compressed a little bit, and some of the things that seemed to be connecting to it are bent, and that is the thing that is sparking.
Okay.
So it's 6 to 7 inches across normally, but in this compressed time scale or compressed space scale, that makes it like dozens of feet, right? It's massive.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Like it's, if it's 6 feet across, but you are currently 3 feet tall. Yeah. So it's, it's big compared to you.
Okay.
You wouldn't be able to lift it, right? But it's, it's not towering over you. It's just big.
Nedry,
Okay.
what do you see?
There's definitely a broken device here that's sparking energy. It looks like it might have been disrupted when Burgess came in, or I'm not entirely certain. Devices aren't really what I'm great at.
Can
Can
we
I
look at
see,
sequential?
Yeah, can I see sequential?
Well, I think probably you don't have a great angle, but you can maybe see way across the landscape of the halfling here. You can kind of see Sequential's head like poking through the gap in the door.
Okay, so if I can see him, we'll telepathically reach out to Sequential.
I think I'm going to need your help. It's some sort of device. I might be able to dispel the magic, but you might also be able to just shut it off. I'm not really good with devices, but I can give you some help. But you're going to have to get small.
Okay. Yeah. That's what it takes. I'll head up the stairs.
Should I bring Nedry back?
Yep.
All right.
I think between Sequential and I, we should be able to shut the thing down, but at the very least, it's another option. I thought about trying to capture it, but I'm not sure of its relative size and whether that makes any difference. Given that It's not exactly normal space inside. It might have worked, but it might be risky.
Someone needs to go fetch sequential.
Yeah, Sequential, did you just go off by yourself?
Yeah.
So I think, yeah,
Oh,
you
yes.
emerged through the door, and then you turned to start going up the stairs, and you were like, oh, the stairs are now,
Oh.
like...
I'll get him. I put him in the cup.
Yeah.
Get in the cup.
Ah.
We're all getting our steps in tonight.
I'm just now envisioning, too, that this stein is one of those with the glass bottom on it.
So we can see out the bottom. Yep.
Yeah, so while Zaleen and Sequential are coming back around, Nedry, go ahead and make an investigation check for me.
Okay. 24.
Okay. You think that if Burgess, the halfling, could get enough leverage somehow, he could probably pull his rear end away from the wall enough to let this thing drop to the floor.
Oh, okay.
I'll look up at him and telepathically tell him,
All I need you to do is scoot over just a little bit. Just enough to let the device fall down.
You think he probably needs help somehow to do that. Right now, he is so, he's curled up in a little ball inside this room. He doesn't really have anything to, give himself leverage. So he would need something to, to pull on or push against to move in that direction.
I'm sure one of us has a rope. So just toss them a rope and say, okay.
I have a very, very tiny rope.
When Zaleen comes back, the two of us can well, I
The
have to
robot's
direct the
there, too.
hand. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so
I'd be like-
he's
Burly
definitely,
guard.
he does kind of just, hey. And he's a, he's not like a bodybuilder or anything, but, he gets his exercise, his steps in as a town guard.
I imagine as I reach the steps, I'm telling Sequential, no, your rope is too small. It's more like floss, like dental floss. We can't use it right now.
That's a really good point.
I know it's really long. It did a really good job with the pig, but I mean, I don't think it would work.
Well, what you could also do is just go back to the tiny door and then put it through on that side and then go back all the way up around again and get it.
That's true.
if they're
We
if they're
have
taking
rope though,
time-
don't we?
Yeah.
If
Did
they're-
we
if-
untie the pig?
Yeah, we did.
I mean, I don't think you
I'm pretty sure we
specified
did.
that you did, but I will allow that happened.
I thought we did before it barfed.
I
Because we had fed it, I thought, but
'Cause I
we
thought
probably
you tied
didn't
it
out
up.
loud.
No.
You secured
Yeah.
it to
I
something.
don't
Yeah, so
think-
generally the everlasting rope thing, I just use however much we need and cut it off. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Right.
so it would have left a leash
hmm
and chopped it.
if people are taking time to transfer ropes and things, Nedry will take time to ritually cast a spell.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it probably took that long just to get back up the steps.
Well, I don't think it takes 10 minutes to go up 4 floors of steps, but certainly
Oh,
you
we
can
got onto
say,
stairs a
hey,
lot of
I want
times.
to cast a spell, so let's,
So he's going to bring Freya into existence again
okay.
with Unseen Servant,
All right.
which is just strong enough to hold him and possibly hold Sequential as well.
Well, no, I think your unseen servant is proportional to you.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, that didn't work. Okay.
That makes sense.
You sense Freya standing by, but then you kind of realize, oh, yeah,
Snap.
just the same. Can hold my pen like usual.
That's okay. I might still need an extra hand.
So Zaleen comes back around with Sequential, and the mage hand is certainly strong enough to carry both Sequential and Nedry on it.
Okay. I will direct them back and use whatever rope.
Yeah. So I think what you, with your 24, Nedry, I think what you have put together here is that the rope for Burgess is going to be like dental floss, right? So it's not that he's going to really able to just be able to pull the rope. Essentially, it's more a matter of what you can. Let's see, if you make a loop of like several, like a coil of it, so that there's several threads thick that he can wrap around his hand, and then brace it on something outside in the hallway. That would be enough that he can kind of just pull his butt up against the wall, off the wall a little bit.
Okay, I start suggesting this plan to the rest to get ready to heave at the right time.
Um,
So who's going to be
Yeah.
bracing the other end of the wall? How are you all planning to do that? I mean,
I'm
Robot
trying
will certainly
to-
help, but
I'm trying to think if we could somehow use the wall of force in the kitchen to like,
You've got lots of rope.
but there's nothing like to loop it around there.
I mean, you're controlling the hand, so
Yeah,
I
I
mean-
was just trying to think of options for us to where to tie that off.
Robot and I will probably have to try to pull.
you just
I'm
set
pretty
yourselves
weak.
up tug of war style.
Yeah.
Good luck.
See
I'm
if
super
you're
weak.
able to resist tens of thousands of pounds of force as this 36-foot tall halfling tries to lift his weight against you.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Robot, you stand behind me because
You're the anchor.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
You're bigger than me.
Wait.
What can we tie
Oh,
it
wrong
around?
wrong direction. Although that could be useful. Does anybody still have the density nodule?
No, I never had it. Was that something that Zenhorn had?
I
I don't know if anybody
I'm looking at his equipment.
Force nodules on Carolina.
That's used up. It was only good for like 24 hours, and that was like,
He doesn't have it on his list, at least.
Oh,
It
gotcha.
might be one of the ones that you didn't ever really assign to anybody.
if you put one
Huh.
end of the rope inside the bag, could you pull it out again?
Well, as soon as
Or
it
would
touched
it just
the interior
pull
of the
you,
bag, it would
Nedry?
pull the whole thing in.
Yeah, the whole rope would get sucked into the bag.
Mm.
Density nodule.
What if we go-
Unsorted. We never decided who was going to hold it.
Wait a
So
minute.
that would
What
probably
if-
mean that you have it just in one of your bags somewhere.
What
Yeah,
if
it would be
we
in the bag.
What if we wrap it like if we go down a flight or two of stairs, wrap it around the railing and do it sort of like a pulley?
Give
there
it a
are
shot.
so many
I guess.
experiments I want to perform in this place, but I think you've got an
What
idea.
you need to just do is that go down and then put it through the tiny door and then bring it back around. And
It's on the
Yeah.
list.
I'm kind of joking. I would have to think for a minute how that would work.
Actually, one of the other options, since the rope is very small to Burgess, is put it the other way through the doors. The rope will get bigger and will be stronger, possibly.
Then it might be too big for us though.
It would be 12 times thicker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean we
Okay,
wouldn't
yeah,
be
that
able
would
to
be-
get a grip on it.
But if it's just if he's pulling it, what if we give him like two ends of it and then he can just like pull himself like it was a loop? Like if we loop it through the doorways.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you're gonna have one half of it be really fat and the other half be like a
Well,
piece of dental
not at his
floss.
point. It will only be one thickness wherever he is.
Hmm.
I mean, if you guys want to try it, I won't stop you.
Yeah, so he would have like two ends of it and he could just like pull himself like that kind of
Okay.
like if he wraps it around his hands.
All right.
I
I'll
don't know.
run-
That's all I got.
I'll run
I wonder
down
what
to
would
the
happen
mini
if I
door
went through the
with
big door again.
you. Would be really big.
No, I'd be even smaller.
Even smaller, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
You'd be
I'll
like
remind
a
you that
flea.
you still haven't found the bard.
Yeah.
We
I
may
hope we
have to
didn't
get
step
really
on her.
small.
Sitting on her.
You flopped on her on the bed.
She was in the sink
Maybe.
and then drowned.
Maybe she's the hat.
I
Maybe you should take that out of
Maybe
your
there's
backpack.
another door
Nah.
that's been too small to see.
can't even live with you, Trado.
Okay, one problem at a time. One problem at a time. One problem at a time. Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna take the rope down to the little door
Okay.
and push it through the big door. So I'm assuming that
Yeah,
Rovak can grab the other end to pull
Right.
it.
And so now it is this, like, are you putting like just one end of the rope through, or you're putting like the whole endless coil thing through?
I'm
guess I'm-
imagining it looped through the entire tower, so like that's what he's bracing himself against is the entire tower.
Yeah. So I guess I'm only putting one end through
Okay.
in order
yeah.
to do that.
So
Yeah, you
Rovak
can
You just
is
hold
pull it
one
out.
end and then
like,
you would
He's got a
run
big,
the other through.
gigantic rope cable that's like this big,
Yeah.
pulling it along. Yeah.
It takes
so-
like 3 of us to carry it.
Yeah.
This thing's heavy.
Yeah. I mean, it's really almost like carrying a tree or a log. At
You
that
know what'd be nice? It'd be nice if Zinhorn was here. He's really strong.
He's also
But
really
I
heavy.
think I think with all of those of you who are full size there, including Rovak, are able to kind of feed the end of that rope into where Burgess can kind of grab it,
Yeah.
and then what do? You just kind of you unfurl the rest of it all the way up the stairs.
Yep.
All right. I think that works because I'm delighted by it. So it works. And so, where are Sequential and Nedry and everyone else when they decide to have Burgess try it here?
I have them on the mage hand, and where do you guys want to be?
We should get pretty close to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be careful because if he falls.
Flip it over. And try to put them as close to the wall as I can.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so they're as out of the way as possible.
All right. So, with a fair amount of direction of just saying, okay, you're trying to pull your butt like away from the wall and towards your feet, and so he is
Right
grabbing
cheek
onto that rope.
hole. Right cheek hole.
Yeah. And so he's and he shifts enough away from the wall that you can see that the stuff that had been pinned between him and the wall, drops to the floor of the room there, and you hear, you hear a crunch, and you hear the classic like plate dropping sort of noise. And then another sort of electrical pop, but he doesn't jerk that time because his butt is pulled away from it, and he's like, how long do I have to hold this?
If he relaxes it, he won't pin it again, right?
No, it's on the floor now. It'll be in the corner again where you could
So
get to
I'll
it.
tell him telepathically and then turn over to the others.
Okay, that's good.
All right.
All right, back to the floor.
Yep.
All right. So.
Put them down on the floor behind the halfling.
Sure. Okay, so this time you're able to get a better look at it, and Sequential, you're able to kind of see it properly for the first time here, and more importantly, you can go up and touch it if you want.
And touch it.
All right, so you first get the immediate bad news, Sequential, that it's definitely broken, or at very least
Right.
damaged. You think that it could perhaps be at least partly repaired to be functional, if not stable. But it is also quite apparent to you now that it is a device which can decrease or increase the size of something 12-fold in steps of 12-fold.
Gotcha.
And you understand that at least in principle, there is not actually a limitation. Like you could enlarge something and like if it was working perfectly, it would just stay that big. It's like concentration. You have, as long as you hold concentration. Essentially, the way it would work is like the enlarge or reduce spell, only instead of just doubling or halving in size, it's times 12. But, as mentioned, also it's damaged. So you might be able to make it work kind of, if you work on it a little bit, but it won't be
Oh
perfect
boy.
yeah.
So,
But-
do you understand the device?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's workable.
I love that you turned
There's-
off the little voice because you're just talking to Nedry, who's
Right?
sizes you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that level of detail. I wanted to call it out. Inspiration for sequential.
Whereas I
it's,
have to
you
go
know-
for the middle high voice.
Right. It's a little risky because it's definitely damaged, but yeah, that device should bring him back to normal
I
size.
thought it might be so.
Yeah.
If I can help in any way, I don't really have. Well, my mother put it kindly. I don't have the fingers for this sort of work, but I'm willing to assist. I know the magic parts.
Would it be easier to fix it if you were your own size?
Yeah.
Yeah, but not with him in the room.
Well, can you
Not
move it?
really going to be possible.
We might be able to drag it out a little bit.
I was gonna say,
There are
can you
some
drag
spaces.
it out into the?
So here's what I want to briefly do is I want to do the cartoon montage of how it takes all of you an hour to get this thing out of the room. You're trying lots of different things. We could put the factory music from Looney Tunes, you know, bum 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 bum. Exactly. So you have to rig up all sorts of little things. You know, you get him to heave again, and then Carolina with the mage hands trying to like roll it along, and it's a whole production that takes a long time. But you eventually get it out, and so you can you have all of the pieces out in the hallway instead of crushed in the little room there.
Yeah.
And then I carry sequential back to the little door so we can come out the big door.
So who all is back to normal size now? Is Nedry go with you on that trip, or is he still small?
No, this is so useful.
Just go ahead and keep Nedry at 3 inches tall. That's fine.
All right. Yeah,
We
talk
will have
about
a
changing
pocket Nedry.
perspective. That's whew,
You're really small.
that'll mess with your head.
So, sequential, you and Nedry, when you saw a bit more of that room, like when he heaved over, definitely get the sense that that room was supposed to be the workshop, where things like that might get repaired. And so, currently, the tinker's tools that would perhaps have been originally used on this thing are definitely smushed. So,
Sure.
if you had the ability, perhaps, to generate a set of tinker's tools,
Yeah. I actually keep a permanent set of Tinker's tools.
well, there you go. That's what you need to try to, to basically unbend the bent parts and reconnect the disconnected parts. And it won't be perfect because there are parts that you think would need to be entirely recast in a way that you're not sure you really understand the procedure, right? Like you can
Sure.
touch it and know how it works, but you don't necessarily know how you would go from base components to that.
Right.
But you can, at least you think, with some Tinker's tools, you have a chance at getting it to at least partially work again.
Cool.
And I figure Mini Nedry is kind of helping with the observations that are really hard to do at normal size.
Here, hold this
And the
tiny
magical
screw.
stuff.
And
Yeah. Oh man, I would love a mini Nedry to be able to do that. Those
Yeah.
stupid screws are impossible for my big muggy hands to use.
Just have like a just literal living little action figure to stand on your desk and here hold this little wire in the right spot and
I wish I had an action figure beside me just to do the scale.
here I've got a mini. It's not quite.
Soldering would be a dream.
Actually, this guy would be about the right size.
Yeah.
Nice.
So with assistance, then you can go
Yeah.
ahead and make a Tinker's Tools check. This is definitely, I think this is probably dexterity plus Tinker's Tools proficiency.
Oh, gotcha.
Just
Okay.
to try to use your hands to reconnect the things. Like you understand how it goes back together. Now it's just
Right.
doing it.
Executing,
Right?
yeah.
So dexterity plus proficiency, but with advantage since you're being assisted.
So 15, 16, 18.
Nice. Yeah. So you now believe that what you have repaired is something that will work, but because of its current damage, here's the tricky thing. All right? You know that the way this would normally work is it would require you to hold concentration to keep something that size, right? But it's going to have this electrical discharge during that. So essentially, for every round that you hold it, you're going to take increasing amounts of lightning damage in order to try to hold it. And you will have to make concentration checks every time. And at least as you understand it right now, it's also not a permanent change, right? So right now, what that means is that, like, if you were to use it on Burgess, you could make him small, but then
Yeah.
you would have to hold it while this thing is zapping you. And the instant you drop concentration, it's going to go back.
Sure.
What if?
So
What
we
if
got to
you
get
can-
him up to that door.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. What if we can get him through the door?
All right.
I can help
So
with
just because I think he might need it, I would also do a little, hey there, ho there, watch your step, be a peasant or lord, for none can stand against the swing of the mighty paladin's sword. And you are heartened by the song of being tough, and
Nice.
now you have bardic inspiration.
Right.
I can help a little bit with the concentration for a little while. I can protect you from it.
And he casts Mage Armor on himself,
Okay.
charging up his Mystic Shield.
Okay.
But I'll have to be close to you. Distances are a little bit weird right now.
So, the plan then? You tell me when you're
Yeah.
ready to do this, and we'll sort of be in light initiative as soon as you try to use it.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to engage it, and then we're all going to take a trip with him upstairs and send him through the door.
Mm-hmm.
So Nedry asks to be in the cup on Sequential's belt,
Okay.
so he can be closer.
All right. So you aim this little resonator antenna at what you can see of him, and you activate it, and it tingles already just from activating it. But you can watch as this enormous halfling go down until he is proportionately the normal size to all of you right now, and he looks up and around. It's like, oh, thank you. That's so much better.
All right.
All right, time to run.
Phase one is success.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. And so,
Grab
Yeah.
his hand, and I'm
Yes,
gonna
made-
start pulling him up the stairs.
all right. So, on his way, you're gonna take 1d6 lightning damage, sequential. Oh, that's
Okay.
6. So 6 lightning damage, and
So
please make a
before he
concentration
takes that,
roll. Okay.
Nedry,
This is new. I hope this works.
and he throws out his pen, and the blue shield that normally surrounds him surrounds Sequential briefly, taking that damage.
Oh, nice. I think that works. Yeah. So because this extra little arcane shield arcs this lightning away from you, it does not hurt you. You don't have to make a
Nice.
concentration check.
Ooh.
And so you hurry him through the door. So he emerges now onto the landing where he is, the equivalent of 3 inches tall in that landing. And you may have all come with him or not, or however you're handling it. What's
No,
the
yeah,
next step of the
I went down to the bottom of the steps to wait for him to come out.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you see this little tiny, super tiny, now Nedry sized, mini Nedry sized Burgess come out and look up at you aghast, like.
All right. Here's hoping phase B works. And I'll release it.
Okay, and as you do, he is now next to Zaylene at apparently relative to you normal halfling size, and those of you who are watching through the doorway see him grow back to the size that he seemed to be in the other room, but he is now in a room where there's space for that.
And you hear tiny little cheers from the doorway.
They're so small.
Ooh, it worked. It worked.
He does a big stretch on his back and then kind of puffs his neck. Oh, that's much better. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. I don't know if I could take much more of that. Not that I had much choice.
Yeah. So now we need to find the bar.
Hard, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I can go a high enough pitch to reflect Nedry at this point because he's like 144 squared times smaller now.
Well, so did Sequential go through and now he's small compared to Zaylene and Burgess, but he's got even smaller Nedry in the cup? Is that where?
Well, no, they're just like on the other side of the door,
Okay.
so they're
Well,
really
yeah,
tiny
relative,
to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, I mean you're still just on the other side of the door. So like, Zaylene looking through that tiny little door would see tiny little Sequential, and then the little cup there probably can't even really easily see Nedry at
What
all.
happened to Nedry?
In your head.
Still here.
Oh wow.
Would be something like that.
I don't have that setting on my vocal cords.
Oh
Oh
no. Oh, I could not.
no. Maybe I might be able to hold this up for a little while.
Okay. All right. So now that that's taken care of,
Need to
is
find the
there
bard.
anything else in that room that Burgess was in?
Well,
I will
so-
go back down and start looking around.
Yeah. What you find in there are lots of smashed furniture, and various bits of, table and tinker's tools and other sorts of fancy looking equipment that is now smashed beyond recognition. And you do also find near where that device ended up, you do see a big sign that says experimental device do not touch.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
Wait,
there-
thanks.
that's good advice.
Okay. So we've
Does
been.
anybody know her name?
Ludi?
Does the guard know
Hmm.
her name?
I think we picked it up.
Mm-mm.
No, she never gave
Hmm.
it. She was very snickety.
I use it. Bard lady. Hello.
Where are you? Tell me your process here.
Well, I'm just kind of like shouting into the stairwell because I don't know.
Wait, Nedry! Nedry, could you use your telepathic communication to try to talk to her and see if she answers? Because you know what she looks like?
I'll have to be a little bit bigger to do that.
Yeah.
I do have sending, but I don't know her name.
I think you.
I'm familiar with her though.
Yeah. I think you met her with enough specificity to be able to use that.
You especially.
Yeah, you insulted her.
You'd be like, I got that loot for you.
So, okay, so I'll cast sending. I'll say, excuse me, bard lady, where are you? We are trying to find you and aren't sure where to look.
What is happening to me? I don't know where I am, but everything is. It's like a forest of red, or it's like vines or something. I can't see anything, and like everything's moving around, or it's been stable for a while, but like there's an earthquake or something earlier.
Oh, she's tiny, tiny.
Oh, what kind of clothes?
The comforter on the bed in the bedroom was red.
I told you, you flopped on her.
Wow.
Oh gosh. All right.
So yeah, immediately I'd be like, and I run down to the bedroom. I'm not saying a word, so
Yeah.
none of y'all know.
Well, of course I'm gonna follow you though.
So back down to the bedroom. Hello?
Definitely follow.
Are you in here?
You. I mean, I guess make a perception check.
I will be over near the bed.
Okay, yeah.
Do you want me to help you?
Oh, that was pretty good. That was a 25.
Okay.
You hear?
You don't need me.
Okay. Calm down. Don't move. We're gonna find you.
Wait. What if you put your hand down and tell her to crawl up
She
onto
can't
your
see
finger?
anything. She's all like, I think she's in the covers or something. So we have to be very careful. I think she's very small.
Oh gosh.
Put me down on the bed. I might be able to see her a little easier from my
or
perspective.
we'll lose you too.
Well,
Hey,
no,
well,
I mean
Well,
he's
what scale are you now? Are you 3?
He's still
Henry, or-
he's still at the first stage of shrinking because
Okay, so
he
like
was-
3
he
inch
was-
tall.
yeah, so he was being carried by sequential. So at that point he was
Mhm.
like a couple of millimeters, and now he's back up to the 3 inches.
okay.
But hopefully from that perspective, it's a little easier to see something that's
Yeah. No,
Can you
my
hear
size
her?
from here.
So what if we each take a corner of the bedspread and carefully lift it? Because that might be the thing that I don't know if she's on it or under it. She said everything was red.
Sure.
So she might be under it.
Oh, okay, but we gotta be super careful.
Yes. Very, very, very careful.
I'm going to have all of you right now, without knowing why, make a dexterity check for me.
Oh boy. Dexterity check.
Where is dexterity?
Holy crap. 21 from
17.
Nedry.
Wow. 21.
3.
Uh-huh. So
I rolled a natural 1.
So, Zaylene, I think that because you are currently paying so much extra attention to the idea of the tiny little sounds that might be present in this room, there's a moment where you take a step in the room and you feel what feels like maybe a tiny grain of sand underneath your heel. And you look down to inspect.
I'm a murderer.
Do you look?
Yeah.
You have just stepped on and crushed a loot the size of a grain of sand.
Oh, she's not getting that back. I just kind of pick it up like this and put it in my pocket. So
Will
she
mending
doesn't.
work on that? Does anybody have mending?
I don't.
I think at
I
this point
do.
it's loot lint. It's too small.
We'll never find it. It'll be in my pocket for all eternity because it's so small.
Yeah, like
Someone
you
will
put
cast
it in
Dispel
there, and
Magic
as soon
and
as you let
suddenly-
it go, you realize, I have no way to get that back out again.
Yeah.
Like, where is
Unless
it?
I go through the
Yeah,
tiny
it's-
door.
Well, it would if you go through it without, taking your pocket with you. Take your pants
Yeah.
off and go through the door without them, and go all the way.
Push
around.
take my pants off and push them through the big door.
Yeah.
Here.
All right. So, is Nedry on the bed exploring? Is that what's happening, or?
That's what he's trying to do.
All right. So go ahead then and make an investigation check. I'll say with advantage if everyone else is helping, like by, kind of just gradually, like maybe trying to smooth out, areas of the blanket. Or tell me what you want. If someone wants to give him advantage, tell me how you're helping.
I would be down on my knees, so like the bed is at eye level, and just kind of scanning very slowly for anything tiny.
My vision is currently magnified through my tears because I thought I stepped on a person.
All right. Sure. So Nedry, you can make investigation with advantage as you're
Okay.
looking around.
Again, the image of a action figure kind of crawling across this bed just has my brain kind of reeling. 22.
Nice.
Okay. I think it's taking a while to look because you're trying to be very careful and methodical, and like even though, it's just like kind of a queen size bed for those of you who are at the appropriate scale, that's like to check inch by inch is still an ordeal. And so eventually though, Nedry, you see that there's a little bit of a wrinkle where the blanket's sort of folded over itself. And as you sort of smooth that away, you reveal this tiny little wood elf bard who, to you, is the size you are to everybody else. So she is currently probably about maybe 2 millimeters tall.
Put my hand down on the bed.
You can crawl on. It's okay.
Smaller she is, the more obnoxious she is.
There's
too.
a
Who
moment
knew?
where she looks up at you, and there's a moment of just awe. And then I guess try to make a perception check, or I guess this is probably, this is perception.
Perception? Okay.
Yeah.
They're all just equally bad. Oh, not 20.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So you just can kind of just make out, just through a moment of, lucky insight of just a moment where she is awed and scared and she just doesn't know what's going on. And so as you lower your hand down, she just gently starts crying, but like steps up under your hand and then just sits down on her, cross-legged.
I'll carefully lift her up and goes to speak and then realizes, no, that's going to be terrible. So uses telepathy to tell her.
Just imagine the kind of stories you can sing from this.
This is attempt to calm or to be nice.
I think that what you get back is, I don't think she has any kind of a coherent response to that right now. She is just kind of, this has been a trying day.
Okay. Let it out. No one else can sing.
No, I take it back. I want to retcon that. When you say, think of the songs that you can sing for this, she says, I can't sing without my lute.
I can't hear her. She's too small.
Did you get her?
It's okay.
Yeah, I think in
I'm
your
sure we'll
hand,
find your
she
lute
just
soon.
screams like what's her name in King Kong? When Sequential leans over to
Yeah, just kind of shield her a little bit and then send the telepathic message to Sequential.
Yeah, try not to be so loud.
Oh, it's gonna be okay.
kind of shielding her probably with his hands and kind of carrying her along carefully to the edge of the bed. I think Carolina was at the edge, like looking over. So you see Nedry walking towards you.
Yeah.
looking like
I
he's-
will. Would you prefer mage hand or my hand? It's up to you.
which I translate,
But
I think,
yeah,
because I can.
Nedry is just kind of like, oh, it's you. What did you do to me?
I think we would prefer the regular hand because it's not as transparent and would be a little less scary for.
Do you want to get in the cup?
Well, he just kind of falls to the bottom.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
here we go. So I'll hold out my hand so that he can get a lift, and I will be much more
So-
careful this time. I will not be so bouncy going up the stairs.
Appreciated.
Actually, we have to go down the stairs so he can go through the little door and come out the other end big, right? Because
Yep.
if he goes through the little door, or if he goes
The big
from
door,
the
he'll
little
be
door into the big
smaller.
room, he's small. So he needs to go from the big room through the little door
Mhm.
to get back to normal size.
Yep.
And then we'll have to take her through again. Okay. So down the stairs to the little door, and I will gently place my hands in front of it so that he can just walk off.
Okay, and I'll
Alright.
carry her through.
Okay, so yeah, you are now on the fourth floor, and she is the same size relative to you, but you are now the proportionally sized for the room you are in.
Just one more time and you should be back to normal.
I don't know what's going on right now.
Well,
And he tries to explain in highly technical language as he's going down the stairs. He probably doesn't understand that, but he's used to that.
I think
But it might
she
distract
at some point, whether or not Nedry would notice this, she is definitely in kind of having a hysterical rant to herself. It's like, Mama always said that this would happen to me if I left home, but I just thought that I wanted to see the world. I mean, how kind of part am I supposed to? I haven't seen the world, and I mean, this is the sort of thing that happens when you go out in the world. I don't even know it. And she's just a mile a minute like that.
Nedry walks faster.
All right.
He does not have any ability to deal with this.
All right, so certainly you can go all the way back down around, past everyone again, or
Yeah. The door is 6 inches high, right?
yeah.
I think Nedry can fit through that, and he thinks so too.
Oh no.
All right,
This is
so
going to
let
be
me
not
think.
good.
Because 6 inches high, but you are currently like, what is
He's-
Nedry's height, like regular?
3'5". So it
So,
would be his head or his shoulders would be too wide.
So I think if you really work at it, you could like maybe get down and like maybe your head would just sort of like barely squeeze through. Like it's not, you I mean, you can try. I'm not sure what the objective here is, other than just being big. I mean, but
You see what
essentially
it's
the
like.
problem is that, like, you are of semi-equivalent size to Burgess the Halfling. So if you were to go through, you would then be that equivalent size in that,
Yeah, he would go from gnome size to halfling size. It's not a huge
Yeah.
jump up.
So what you could do is, like, you could reach your arm through and just have this enormous arm filling the whole stairway.
Did we ever just determine if anybody had mending?
I
don't-
do.
Oh, do,
Okay.
you do? Okay, good.
Okay, while they're trying to figure out what they're gonna do, I'm literally gonna take off my pants and shove them through the little door.
I have extra pants.
It's okay, I don't care. I'm not modest. So I
Carolina
like shove
pretends
my
not
pants.
to look. Like, when
But
we
she's like-
So I love this, just the mental image, because then you're going to run up 4 flights of stairs, and
In
then
my
you have
underwear.
your pants that are now like it's
Super big.
just like it's like a parachute or a circus tent worth of fabric,
Yeah.
and somewhere in there is a broken lute 3 inches long.
Yep. I'm gonna crawl inside the pocket and try to find it.
All right.
She does have dark vision, so
Yeah.
you know.
I can see really well in my pocket. Just don't send me
Do you have
outside.
pocket vision?
Pocket vision.
Pocket vision. Yeah. Well, so I think you can. How much time are you willing to spend on that?
I feel pretty bad.
Well, the other thing is.
But she
that
asked for help, so I'd help.
So my assumption, first of all, is that Nedry, when you push the bard, who you still haven't asked her name, although she's not really in a talkative mood at the moment, but when you push her through the door, she is going to be, sort of like 5-6 inches tall on the other side still. So
Yep.
just
Repeating the
let's
process
resolve that as at the same time that Zaleen is taking her pants off.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
And so
he's
would
carried her
you
down the
just-
second time and told her to go through.
Okay.
And then he's standing at the doorway, kind of contemplating whether he wants to try to go through and squeeze through himself.
Yeah. All right. I think it would be difficult for limited game, but like you could squeeze through and get stuck in the stairs for.
I mean, technically it's 12 times higher, so he would actually be 36 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not a good idea, Nedry.
How big do you think a platinum coin would get? We could
Ooh.
increase some of our holdings. We can carry them out.
Is their money bigger?
Yeah, how you gonna fit that in your mouth though?
You could do
Well,
it.
you got the other
Yeah,
bag,
basically a
could
manhole
do
cover
it.
sized.
bag of protection. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, we can break it apart. Doesn't have to stay that big once we've made it that big.
So you
Well,
do manage to get the bard around, and by the time you have managed to make her proportionate to all of you again, she kind of just wanders into that little sitting room area and just kind of collapses into one of those chairs and is just kind of staring into space in shock for a little bit.
That gives me time to look in my pocket.
Yeah.
but yeah, I'd climb in her pocket.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, and we can
Yeah,
mend
I-
it while it's still small. She'll never know.
Yeah.
Splinters of loot. Oh God.
So yeah, so sequential is getting into Zaleen's pants, I guess, and
Hey!
all right.
In a
so-
purely professional way.
That was completely unprofessional. Yeah,
wasn't
that's
wearing
we're just.
Right,
Yeah.
platonic.
What are we? What do I have to do? Make an investigation check?
You know what? I think that you guys are not like under time crunch right now exactly. So I think you look until you find it.
Okay. All right, and then
Try to fix it.
yeah, we try.
Mending takes a little bit, doesn't it? Is it like a minute or?
No, I think it's instantaneous, but it only works on a very small area at a time.
I
Yeah, it's
feel
like a
like it
foot.
has a minute.
Mending.
past
Oh,
the
1
time.
minute. Yes,
Okay.
1 minute.
Well,
Oh, okay.
regardless, though, you can go ahead and do that. And so the loot currently, as you have found it, is 3 inches tall. So
It's a pretty
As
small
long
area.
as the brakes are no longer larger than a foot.
Well, none of it is larger than
Yeah.
a foot now.
like it would be too big to use this spell on it if you had made it
Yeah.
normal size first.
So
All right.
many possibilities.
So it's all fixed.
Yep.
After a minute.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I like
So
high
you just
five
now you need to
sequential.
have the loot and the pants go opposite directions to
Yo,
yeah.
I'll push my pants through, and then I'll run back down and push the loot through. And now I'm gonna put my pants back on while I'm walking up the stairs to
Okay.
get the loot.
Great. So what are the rest of you doing while all that's happening?
Probably after studying the door for a little while, decides that he's going to save his magical energy for now. and then just studying that plaque to see if there's any other indications of what might be used, what its key might be.
Yeah, I think you can't tell just by looking at it.
Yeah, it's
Like,
more of a contemplative examination than kind of running over what we've seen, that sort of
If
thing.
you had an object you suspected was the key in your hand, you could maybe try to determine if it would be, charmed in a specific pattern in a way that might work. But I think the lock won't tell you what the key is.
The device that Sequential was using, did that shut off after he stopped focusing on it, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially like holding concentration on a spell when you're using it.
Okay.
It should still work.
Well, is it functioning, or is it?
I mean, it's still going to do. It's still damaged in the same way.
But it didn't shut down or depower or anything like that. It
No.
still seems to be a functional.
You
object
just like
otherwise. Okay.
you had it active and then you let it drop.
Okay.
So I think while all this is going on and Nedry's just like staring at the thing and contemplating, and then like every now and then like Zaline runs by with with and without pants, and Sequential comes in and the bard comes wandering in, and Nedry's still standing there staring at the plaque. And like I imagine that he's like musing out loud to himself, because he does that a lot.
Tracing magical symbols with his pen. Yep.
So as he does that, not to like show him up or anything like that, she just kind of like, she will watch for like the correct timing and and cast knock on the door.
Yeah. And so as everyone is kind of occupying themselves with whatever they were focusing on, and well, had you returned the loot to the bard yet?
No, I was going to give it to Carolina to do.
Okay. All right. So she's still kind of just staring into the empty fireplace in the sitting room, and everyone else is kind of doing their own thing. And then all of a sudden, from that front door, and the door flies open, and you can see, outside the plaza of Gorn once again.
Wow, Nedry, good job.
Wasn't me. Ask the one who likes to knock all the time.
Oh.
Yeah, so as you're standing there with the door open, all of a sudden you start hearing this sound like boom, 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 boom.
Uh-oh,
And you
everybody
start
out!
everything's kind of starting to vibrate a little bit.
Everybody get out, come on!
Anyone who who's proficient in Arcana can make an Arcana check to just like try to understand what's happening.
Oh, no,
Oops, that's wrong.
8.
16.
Second. There we go. His ears are still ringing.
I think the best any of you can tell right now is maybe just that, given that this building is obviously got some loopy things going on with it, you gather that it is less stable when it is exposed to the regular prime material plane.
It may have
So-
also been booby-trapped. I think I would have booby-trapped it.
Can we just
Yeah.
go?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely get out.
I will grab the loot and kind of shove it at Carolina, and then I'll lean into the other room with the wood elf and be like, come on, we gotta go. No
Huh?
time for tears. Let's go. Come on, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah, she is not responding very quickly here.
Then I will grab her.
Okay. All right, so I think all of you pile out just as the tower really starts to feel like it's shaking, around you, and making some really awful sounds that you feel like a building that you're inside you don't want them to make. And but then as the last of you emerges from that doorway, you look back to see the door slam closed, and then the whole tower goes until it has shrunk 3 times over, and it's now just a tiny little thing sitting there on the ground. And then all of you suddenly hear a snort as Freckle, who is across the the plaza kind of stands up and starts wandering over, going,
Grab that.
Nope, 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 nope.
Grab it. Grab it.
so you grab the little tiny tower that's like the size
Yes.
of your thumb now.
Yep.
All right.
And I will look at the loot and look at the bardus that I believe this is yours.
She looks at it, a little suspicious, takes it, plays it, adjusts the tune because you messed it up. Okay. Thank you. I don't know what I would have done without this, and I don't know what happened in there, but it seems like we're out and I have my loot back, and that's all I really wanted, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Is it rude to ask if I can write a song about this? Or is that something I just do it? Like, what's the protocol, like the ethics for like bards? Like, do you get to write a song about whoever you want and you don't have to ask permission? Or is it like, do I need your permission? Or like, because I probably don't need your permission, right? I mean, this happened to me. I can write a song about what happened to me.
I mean, we can't stop you,
All right. then.
but
She
I mean, we
wanders
do
off.
still have the tower, so maybe just
Oh,
keep
she
that in
leaves.
mind.
She leaves.
Oh,
Nedry,
we should have given her our card so that she could spell it right.
Oh, there was one inside the loot.
Yeah, I figured.
So Zinhorn runs up and is like, "You won't believe what happened to me, you guys."
Oh, no.
I believe you. I trust you a lot.
What happened?
Well, we will find out next week what happens to Zinhorn. But we will find out next week what happened when we return for more adventure on so many levels.
So many
levels.
Big
levels.
levels.
Big levels, big levels,
That was so
small
fun.
levels.
Little tiny
All
ones.
levels, small